about that and get Proverbs 28 and 1. Come on.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 28 and verse 1. The book of Proverbs, chapter 28, verse 1. The wicked flee.
The wicked do what?
The wicked flee.
Everybody run when it's time for to bring the laws of God out. Drop the fire and everything. Disrespectful. Read.
When no man pursue it.
Said the wicked gonna flee when no man pursue it.
What's in the front door? Where are running for? Don't run. Stand up. Don't run. Watch them again.
Now I have a question. Who are you obeying right now? What I mean by that is this. If you can't speak with me, and I'm asking you to give a defense for your beliefs, if you can't speak to me or out and give a defense for your beliefs, are you obeying Nathaniel and Ithan, Yabusup, or are you obeying Jesus Christ? Can I show you a verse that shows you're not obeying Jesus Christ by not giving an answer? I'll show you right here. It's in 1 Peter. So we turn to 1 Peter, who is an apostle, and we look at 1 Peter 3:15, and you know what he says? It says, in your hearts regard Christ the Lord as holy, ready at any time to give a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason to the hope that is in you. But you brothers did not give a defense. You didn't obey 1 Peter 3:15.
I got you. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much. What's in the front door? Where are running for? Don't run. Stand up. Don't run. Watch them again.
Now you guys believe that the Edomites are one of the nations or groups of people that cannot be saved, right? And in fact, you teach that in the kingdom, they'll be your servants, they'll be your slaves. Here's the question though. Does Paul agree with your belief? If he doesn't, you got to ask yourself, why aren't my beliefs apostolic? So let me just read you this key part right here. Acts 26, verse 28. Agrippa, who's an Edomite, said to Paul, are you going to persuade me to become a Christian so easily? That's what he says to him. And now look what Paul says. I wish before God, replied Paul, that whether easily or with difficulty, not only you, so that's an affirmative. Does it say in the military? That's an affirmative. He said, you want me to become a Christian? Paul says, I wish before God. That's a way to say I pray to God about this. So that's an affirmative. Then he double affirmatives. Makes a double affirmative when he says this. Whether easily or with difficulty, not only you, but all who listen to me today might become as I am. Now here's what's so crazy about that. If he just said you might be able to, okay, find some way out of it. Maybe, I still don't think you could, because Agrippa is clearly of Idumea. But he says, all who hear me today. Now, you gentlemen know that everybody in that room with Agrippa, especially considering we know Festus is in the room, those are not all Jews. Those are not all Israelites. Those are not Hebrew men and women. Why does he say, I would have you all to become a Christian like I am? And here's the kicker. Not only you, but all who listen to me today might become as I am, except for these chains. So here's a question. If you believe the Edomites, of whom Agrippa was one of, are going to be your servants in the kingdom for all eternity, or actually for the 1,000 years until they get vanquished. If you think they're going to be your servants and in chains, why did Paul say he prays to God that Agrippa won't be in chains? You have to answer that question. Because it looks to me like we have one verse, and there's a lot more verses we could go to, but we got one verse right here that single-handedly deconstructs Hebrew Israelism. It single-handedly destroys your soteriology. It single-handedly discombobulates your eschatology. It single-handedly does away with it. So the question is, when you guys go out and you're downtown, you're around Maine or wherever you want to stand in Dallas, when you see someone you perceive to be an Edomite, even though you're certainly mistaken about their identity, when you see them, will you say, hey, you of Idumea, just like Paul said to Agrippa, I wish before God you could become just like me, except don't have chains on. Because you believe you're still in your captivity. And so you could say to them, I wish you could be up just like I am right now, except I pray before God that you won't be in captivity. Could you men say that? If the answer to that question is no, my question would be why? Why can't you say that? Why wouldn't you be able to say to the one you think is an Edomite, I would like you to be like me except for these chains? Why not? Any of you guys have answers? Now I have a question. Who are you obeying right now? What I mean by that is this. If you can't speak with me, and I'm asking you to give a defense for your beliefs, if you can't speak to me or out and give a defense for your beliefs, are you obeying Nathaniel and Ithan, Yabusop, or are you obeying Jesus Christ? Can I show you a verse that shows you're not obeying Jesus Christ by not giving an answer? I'll show you right here. It's in 1 Peter. So we turn to 1 Peter, who was an apostle, and we look at 1 Peter 3:15, and you know what he says? It says, in your hearts regard Christ the Lord as holy, ready at any time to give a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason to the hope that is in you. But you brothers did not give a defense. You didn't obey 1 Peter 3:15.
I got you. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much. What's in the front color? Where are running for? Don't run. Stand up. Don't run. Watch them again.
Back, hold that and get Proverbs 28:1. Come on.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 28 and verse 1. The book of Proverbs, chapter 28, verse 1. The wicked flee.
The wicked do what?
The wicked flee.
Everybody run when it's time for to bring the laws of God out. Drop the fire and everything. Disrespectful. Read.
When no man pursueth.
Said the wicked gonna flee when no man pursue it.